Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 269 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Knowing Wheel returns. I am back once again with Jamie183, who, a fun fact for you all chat, over the weekend, some of you might know, he went to the Swiss Alps. He just told me it didn't feel like a holiday because, and I quote, it wasn't long enough. How are we doing, sir?
That's not what I said. What was it you said? It was more like a trip because it was short and I didn't use any annual leave. So therefore, it's basically a weekend away. Because that's what it was, you know.
How the other half live, ladies and gentlemen.
When you live right by an international airport and not in a farmland in the middle of nowhere, you can go on weekend trips on an hour and a half flight. It's like, sweet.
Hey, I'm about an hour away from 2 international airports. 3, actually, I would have made the argument.
Is one of them, so that doesn't really count.
Bristol, Cardiff,
again,
and Birmingham.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't want to go to Birmingham, and the other two aren't really.
I don't think I've ever been to Birmingham Airport. Now I say that.
I actually have, and it's a bit of a dive, so
fair enough.
Wouldn't recommend.
I'll avoid
Manchester
Birmingham.
is where it's at.
Is it really? I'll just go Heathrow. On the odd occasion I fly anywhere. I'm normally just in my room.
Come on. You're not fooling anyone there.
Normally I will fly at Heathrow. It's actually quite easy to get to from where I live, so I will stand by Heathrow. This is we're not. I mean, I think a lot of people would expect that we'd be like huge aviation nerds. So maybe we'll do knowing planes at some point.
Sadly, that's an area I need to work on.
Exactly. I think people would think we're both huge plane nerds, but we're really not. In fact, if anything, the only huge plane nerd I seem to know now is Last 212. If ever she sees a plane in the sky, she's got to go on Flight Radar 24 and find out where it's going, what it is. It's brilliant. Bless her. It's kind of like when you see like a dog stare at a plane when they kind of track on.
She knows absolutely nothing about it.
That's something she kind of does occasionally. She'll kind of like watch it and then sort of go, "Oh, I better look where it's going."
I hope that she doesn't watch this since you just referred to her as a dog. That's
I didn't refer to her as a dog. She's just incredibly cute, like maybe a dog might be.
Let's get on with the podcast.
I've done myself a hole. Jamie can't deal with love. It's painful for him. He's like a robot. Cannot compute.
What's Tin Man from what you must know? I mean, you're not cultured at all. The
Tin
Yellow Brick
Man
Road
from The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, The Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Jamie183 in my year 6 production, I was the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz.
Really?
There's a bit of early days Match 212 lore for you. I was the Tin Man.
Wow, that is amazing. Have you found your heart yet?
No, still not really. To be honest.
Well,
should we actually talk about Formula 1? This has been a very deep...
We probably should.
We're 3 minutes in and we've already gone down about 18 rabbit holes. None of it to do with Formula 1.
Hopefully that's what people are watching for,
I think they've got to be at this point, haven't they?
To discuss the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Yeah, let's do it. 3 new liveries this weekend, Jamie. Williams looked sick. V-Carb, I think, looked incredible.
Yeah.
Sauber looked a bit meh.
It looks exactly the same, didn't it?
Just with some checkered flags on it.
I kind of hope they use it in the last 2 races as well. I don't know if they said they are yet or not, but
I think they will, because the problem is, of course, what you got to remember now is it's near impossible to actually get it home and put the normal livery back on.
Yeah, and also it is obviously to kind of commemorate their last few races as Kick Sauber Stake Formula 1 team, so it would make sense.
A memorable organisation.
Very memorable. Nico Hülkenberg's first ever podium of many. One in a Sauber. That will be what they're remembered for, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Hülkenberg getting the podium. The Williams I think looked really cool. The V-Carb though, Jamie, it reminded me, because you're actually someone that I can talk to about this that might know what I'm on about.
Okay.
Do you remember on Counter-Strike, the print stream skins?
No.
They were like a little... or Google it. They look like that. Just Google Counter-Strike print stream, and they kind of reminded me of that. It was just a really, really cool kind of livery as well. That didn't look as good on track as it looked in some of the promotion shots, but still looked pretty good.
I do remember this skin. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
I thought you would. Practice, though, not a huge amount happened. Made me chuckle, though, because obviously to get the notes, I go back through and watch some of the highlights, everything like that. FP1, pretty normal. FP2, they don't mention in the YouTube highlights the 15-minute red flag, because for the second year in a row, we got another loose manhole cover. They just glossed over that.
I didn't even... Funny. I only watched the... I think I was... What time was it? It was Thursday night, wasn't it, for the UK?
Friday morning, technically, yeah.
I watched the YouTube highlights, didn't have a clue about this manhole cover.
No, exactly. Everybody, they try to kind of sweep that one under the rug, which was quite funny. But by the time we got into qualifying, though, Jamie, I got up, I watched it, must have been about 7 o'clock Saturday morning, I think. I didn't get up live. I'm sorry, I'm not a real Formula 1 fan. But I was shocked to find it was about 2 minutes into Q1, and it was absolutely bucketing it down.
Yes, it was raining very hard, and I'm in a similar boat. I didn't watch it live. I watched the highlights when I woke up in Switzerland. As he didn't know, I was in Switzerland.
Casual name drop in there. Yeah, get that one in.
It was hilarious how wet it was, and the clip on the highlights of Ollie Behrman, like with the
just going down the escape road, yeah,
and he's literally like shaking his hands, like, "What can I do?"
He's just given up, hasn't he? He's I can't be bothered with this.
Yeah, but he still got through. He didn't get damage, I don't think.
He got front wing damage, but yeah, apart from that, he managed to keep the steering wheel straight enough that he didn't do anything to it. But yeah, just the fact he went all the way down the escape road, it was just there like, oh man, like I know I'm having this crash in a few seconds, but there's just nothing I can do about it anymore. It was just hilarious. Plus, it was what it was, Jamie. Was it was just such a good vibe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ollie Behrman.
Yeah.
And I think now he's
Behrman.
really come alive towards the end of the year. It's great to see.
Yeah, he certainly has. And your driver, Lewis Hamilton. Any comments on his performance on Saturday?
What on earth was Ferrari doing?
What do you mean?
Have you seen
he qualified
this?
last.
So, because Jamie, Ferrari, one, never told him he made it in time to go for a second run. Two, never even told him he was in the drop zone. He had no idea. So obviously he thought he got to the line, assumed he was safely through, and then Ferrari only told him 15 seconds later that he'd actually crossed the flag and he needed to do a second run, despite the fact obviously he completely cooled off. It was the dumbest lack of communication, again, that I've ever seen. Like, Bono and Lewis would have never allowed this to happen. The Ferrari pain just gets worse and worse. It's so insane the moment. What is going on with that team? Like, yeah, I admit, obviously he cocked up. He managed to hit the bollard going through the final chicane because he just turned in way too early, which I still don't know how he managed that. But how on earth you can, A, not tell your driver he's even at risk of being in the drop zone, never mind the fact he was already at 18th, and B, then not tell him that he got to the line, because apparently his steering wheel said he didn't make it. But apparently that was because Ferrari had it obviously timed to the start, like, number one on the grid slot, rather than where the actual start line is.
And the start-finish timing
is like 16th on the grid.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Lewis Hamilton was in a very bad way on what was it, Friday night, I guess, in Vegas?
Saturday night in Vegas, yeah, Saturday morning here.
Yeah, he was... I've never seen him so dejected, I don't think. Even
it's the first time, I think, ever he's qualified last.
Yes, on pure pace, obviously.
Yeah.
Penalties and stuff.
First time Ferrari's qualified last since Abu Dhabi 2009, Jamie. Can you tell me who that driver was?
I can. Giancarlo Fisichella.
It was Giancarlo Fisichella in his final ever F1 race.
That actually leads us on very nicely to the quiz.
That's it. I thought as soon as I said that, I was like, is Jamie going to do a sneaky quiz? Something to do with that?
Intercept, because you will have 45 seconds, because I'm feeling very harsh, to name the top 8 point scorers, as it was back then, from that race. And your time starts now.
Sebastian Vettel.
Yes.
Mark Webber.
Yes.
Jenson Button. Am I allowed to get one wrong?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I'll just name everybody then. Rubens Barrichello, Lewis Hamilton, Raikkonen, Kovalainen, Fisichella, Nakajima, Rosberg.
You're on 4 at the moment.
Yeah, that's good. Kubica, Heidfeld, Kamui Kobayashi definitely did actually score points, I'm pretty certain. Timo Glock, Jarno Trulli, can't remember which one broke their legs, I think it was Glock.
7 out of 8.
Sebastian Buemi.
There you go. GG.
There you go. Look at that.
Is that what you did?
You should have never let me get him wrong.
I was kind of hoping you would say, I'm just going to name them all, and then just forget one. That would be great.
No, 2009, great year.
Kobayashi did get 6th place in his second ever race. Beat his team.
He did. Yeah, he did. Kamui Kobayashi was always hilarious in Formula 1. That is, again, a rabbit hole. I've actually done that on a different podcast. I snaked Jamie out once and did a podcast about Kamui Kobayashi with someone else, and it was fascinating to go back through his career.
I mean, he's a great driver.
Yeah,
He was very much quick and not polished.
Yeah, he was bizarre because he was quick in worse machinery, or he then just got slower as he was in the sport more, which was a bit peculiar. Anyway, back to qualifying though, Jamie. So Albon slapped the wall right at the end of Q1, so he was out as well. Antonelli, a bit out of nowhere, out in Q1. Hamilton, like we mentioned, Yuki Tsunoda and Gabriel Bortoleto all out there. Q2, it was kind of obviously the rain had stopped, so we were kind of starting to see this transition, weren't we? Lance Stroll was the only one to risk it on Inters, and it didn't work for him. So he was out alongside Esteban Ocon, Nico Hülkenberg, Ollie Behrman, and Franco Colapinto. And then in Q3, again, it was just one of those sessions, wasn't it, where basically try and be the last car on a run. Lando Norris, to be fair to him, again, we keep saying this at the moment, don't we? When the pressure's on, got the lap in on I guess what was Friday night, but technically Saturday morning for us. Max Verstappen would join him on the front row. Shout out to Carlos Sainz, brilliant effort to go P3. Russell, unlucky, because he was fastest in Q1 and Q2, but then had power steering issues in Q3, so could only manage P4. Oscar Piastri down in P5 again. What on earth is going on there? We've kind of just become used to it. Lawson, brilliant effort to go 6th, just ahead of Alonso and Hadjar. Leclerc didn't quite capitalise in the end, and Gasly was there in Q3, despite the fact he was like 3 seconds off the pace.
Also, we mentioned in Brazil, credit to Lando Norris for delivering under pressure with the last lap in Q3. Yep. I want to discredit Oscar Piastri because he was the guy who was last across the line, who should have had the best of the track conditions.
Yep.
And just didn't get it together and qualified,
again.
5th?
Yeah,
so,
again.
Yeah. And Norris obviously was absolutely smashing it. He was going to get pulled by about a second until that massive bit of oversteer.
Yeah, it was a really good lap. I mean, obviously, lucky to gather it up still. It was always great, wasn't it, coming through that final chicane? Because there were so many of them had snap oversteer. My favourite statistic, though, Jamie, from this weekend so far, was it was something mad like 65 laps, right, qualifying were invalidated, whether it was yellow flags or track infringement. Liam Lawson was the only driver that didn't get a single lap time voided. Lance Stroll got 6.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Stroll was actually very fast in Q1, and I thought he was...
The Aston Martin was very good earlier on, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it seems to work well with the full wets, which is such an unlikely scenario in Formula 1.
It's probably because they run their ride height too high, and the wets, favour them.
Yeah. It's really odd. Really odd. But yeah, no, so Lance Stroll, though, still obviously out in Q2. Let's talk about the start, though, Jamie. Because Lando Norris, I don't know if you've ever seen like the meme of the old guy trying to play basketball and someone does like a swap on him and he just trips himself over his legs. That was basically what Lando did into T1.
It was phenomenal as a Max Verstappen fan, because obviously this move is very much in Max Verstappen's playbook to kind of squeeze on the inside and then swing it back out and then try and brake normally and make the corner. Lando Norris tries it and was too busy looking in his mirrors that he forgot to brake for turn 1, really, at the right point. He went so wide onto the dust, and Max Verstappen had an easy route into turn 1. Have you seen the David Coulthard's commentary line on it?
I don't think so.
Which was basically... Lando Norris tried to play Max Verstappen at his own game. The only problem is he doesn't know the rules of the game.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was, again, that whole thing of, I know I've said it so many times, it hasn't seemed to have occurred as much more recently, but Max still lives rent-free in Lando's head. This is why I wanted to see Oscar win this championship, and I was hoping it was going to be down to the fact that Lando cannot race Max, because he's too scared of him. But
Possibly.
I mean, he got the job done originally and then just, completely messed himself up, which was quite funny to watch. And obviously then Max gave him a taste anyway on the exit, didn't he? Because he just completely drove across his nose.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you really want to try that on me?
That was basically just nice try, mate. I'll see you at the checkered flag. And that was basically what it was.
Yeah, pretty much. And Russell got through as well into second place. And Piastri dropped down from 5th to 7th, I think, behind Lawson.
Yep,
and maybe
because he got pushed out by Liam Lawson at the start. Lawson missed his braking point and just banged into him. Easily the best one,
wasn't damage.
Yeah, staggering. That one, wheel-to-wheel contact, I got no idea. The one that was even more impressive, though, was Bortoleto, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. Because I was watching the race in bed, last 2 and 2 went to be spent. Oh, I saw an Aston Martin spinning at the back, because I was watching Lando. I was like, I assume Stroll's done something stupid. to his credit this time round, Stroll didn't do anything stupid. Bortoleto was just like a heat-seeking missile into that first corner for him, which is quite funny.
Yes, and it was, well, I don't want to say it was deliberate, but it happens to be the driver who took him out on lap 1 in Brazil. And
yeah, conspiracy.
Conspiracy theory. Well, I mean, I don't believe that at all. And Bortoleto held his hands up. He just missed his breaking point. It happens to the best of us. We've all been there on an F1
Best of
before.
us, sorry.
I must have taken you out like that at some point in F1, probably.
I'm sure you did many times, I would have thought.
Yeah, I'm sure I did as well. And I'm sure you have to other people. But, yeah, not great. And also it took out like half the grid. Hulkenberg almost got blown up as well. Bortoleto qualified, what, 16th, 17th?
16th, 17th, wasn't it? Yeah.
He took out Gasly, who started 10th.
Yep.
And almost took out Hulkenberg, who started 11th.
Yep. And then Stroll, of course, he was, I think, 12th on the grid, wasn't he, as well? Yeah, so obviously Bortoleto and Stroll were... Well, I mean, Bortoleto actually went for like another 3 laps before he retired the car, which was pretty impressive. You said, obviously, about how Lawson and Piastri were lucky not to get damaged. Obviously, Lawson did eventually lose his wing on lap 2, and that basically took him out of contention for the rest of the night. Antonelli, though, as well, got what must be the strictest jump start penalty I think we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, even when you watched it back, you had to slow it down to even see what he did.
He must have been quite ahead of, like, on the limit of his markers to begin with, I think, because he crawled the slightest bit forward.
Yeah, it's not about how much you crawl, it's about when you do it, I believe. It was the problem there. Okay. But I think he was also a bit unlucky because obviously there is a bit of a drop, isn't it, off of the final corner. So whether because obviously sometimes, for example, Brazil is a great example of this. You have to hold your brake and the throttle at the start, obviously, as well as you clutch with your hand. So I just think he didn't realise that obviously he needed to in his grid slot because it's not a perfectly flat pit straight.
But then everyone
not
has
really
that
straight
same
anyway,
pit
but you know what I mean.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying Antonelli was unlucky. As such, he still jumped to the start, but it was just by such a minute margin, and obviously, you know, not intentional or anything like that. Not really kind of a jump start in the traditional sense, was it really?
No.
Hamilton, though, after a bad qualifying, he was up 6 spots. Behrman was up 6 spots as well. But yeah, like we said, obviously, apart from Lawson's wing falling off on lap 2 and everybody trying to find a way around him, to be honest, it was probably, in terms of on-track action, the worst Vegas Grand Prix we've had. Yeah,
probably. Obviously, the previous 2 have both had fairly good battles for the lead.
Pretty memorable moments, at least, hasn't it?
yeah, because obviously you had Leclerc leading briefly in 23.
Leclerc led quite a big chunk of that race in 23. He should have won it, to be honest. That was a weekend where Ferrari were arguably, or Leclerc was as quick, if not quicker, than the Red Bulls. He got unlucky right towards the very end.
Yeah. And he still finished second, didn't he? Because he jumped
Perez pretty much at the line, or into the final few corners.
And yeah, last year was obviously pretty memorable as well. This year, maybe not. I think after lap 2, 3, it kind of settled down an awful lot. And I was like, flipping it, we're going to have to fill this podcast with random stories about the Wizard of Oz. But thankfully, I mean, are we going to say anything about the race? I mean, literally nothing happened.
There was a few bits to talk about, to be fair. It was, as you know, as we've said so many times on this podcast over the last few years, what it was a quintessential ground effect race where there is enough overtakes going on that you don't switch off the TV, but none of them are particularly exciting, are they? Because again, you just sit behind the car in front, wait for DRS, and just go past. Which obviously, again, at a track like Vegas is a bit similar to Monza, of weirdly, despite a huge DRS zone and huge straights, it's actually quite difficult to get past people because the DRS isn't that effective, because of course you're running such low wing in the first place. I still think, you know, we've seen this a few times, haven't we, this year, where they've tried to... It feels like more often than not they've overcompensated, making DRS zones shorter, and it's ended up basically meaning that very few cars can go for overtakes.
I guess so.
I think Spa was a good example of this. Monza as well. Vegas now. I think Mexico, they probably got it right for the most part.
Mexico's always the anomaly, isn't it? Because the air's so thin that DRS does nothing. Weird.
You just can't rely on Mexico. But I feel like, this was another one where they could have probably left the DRS zone as long as it was last year, and it probably would have been better for it. There were still a few interesting moments though throughout the Grand Prix, wasn't it? Obviously, George was hassling Max early on, but then I think he had some kind of technical gremlins later on in the race. Obviously, again with his power steering. So Lando got past him after the pit stops, but I think easily the best bit was obviously Andrea Kimi Antonelli pit on lap 2 under the VSC because he'd started on softs, went to hards, and just stayed on them, which was hilarious.
And the pace wasn't bad at all. And
towards the end, he was setting fastest laps of anybody.
Yeah. Like, the deg on the hards was next to nothing. Obviously, he had that 5-second penalty over his head. I wonder if they knew that penalty was coming, so they were like, let's get the stuff out of the way before it arrives.
I think it was announced before he would have pit again.
I
think Mercedes weren't even planning on, because the soft tyre wasn't that good. They just took a gamble that they'd get an early safety car. Yeah. Because he was way down the order. So I think it was literally just, we'll put him onto hards. It'll just go as far as we'll plan to obviously pit again. But obviously, he just did a really, really good job on him. And again, it was another reason why Antonelli is still showing that, I would say out of all of the rookies, he's probably, I still think, got the most natural ability. You can tell he's designed to race an F1 car.
I think him and Behrman, as we've always kind of said, are the highest potential, possibly.
Yeah.
But they were maybe a little bit... I mean, Antonelli in particular needs to work on his consistency, but...
He's getting there, though, towards the end of the year, to his credit.
And again, titanium dioxide is allowed in America, so...
In Vegas, it certainly is, yeah. Look at that.
I wonder what time the sun rose, because Nico Hulkenberg did quite well as well. Did we talk about that on the podcast? I can't remember.
I think we've briefly mentioned it, isn't it? It's a really odd one, isn't it?
It is.
But he only got to rise at bizarre hours.
Taking that 5-second penalty away from Antonelli, he finished like less than 2 seconds off of George Russell, who obviously started third.
Russell fell off, way towards the end. I mean, the big one for Antonelli, though, and again, it goes to show just how badly Ferrari struggled and messed up. By the end of lap 2, Hamilton was on better tyres than Antonelli, and 3 positions ahead of him. Antonelli finished the Grand Prix in 4th on the road.
30 seconds clear.
Yeah, 30 seconds clear of Lewis by the end.
But I do think Lewis Hamilton was checked out after
I think, he got halfway through, did his second stop, and was like, I'm
the fact he was like, he was trailing Hulkenberg for, what would it have been, like 9th or 10th in the real-time race.
Yeah.
And then just fell off. But he was on better tyres.
Stayed there. He just stayed there for the rest of the night. He just couldn't be bothered.
And then he finished 7 seconds back. So
yeah, I think he came out the pit lane closer as well, which was the more alarming bit. He came out like 3 seconds back. But yeah, so I mean, you did get a little bit of drama right towards the end. Norris obviously had to LICO, the famous Ferrari word there. He dropped back like 15 seconds off Max in like the final 2 laps.
Yeah.
Because he was critical on fuel as well. Because I think people were expecting at least a safety car, which obviously never came to fruition. But yeah, Verstappen, like we said, apart from George Russell giving him a little bit of hassle at this, in the first few laps, Verstappen took the lead on lap 1 and was never seen again. Norris obviously came through to finish P2 ahead of Russell. Piastri then got Antonelli because of his 5-second penalty for 4th and 5th. Leclerc then, I'm surprised he dropped away from Antonelli as much as he did at the end. I would assume Ferrari had to LICO as well. Carlos Sainz, a decent day out in P7, P6? Yeah,
P7
very, very good. P7, sorry, for him. Hadjar obviously just spent all day at 8th, basically, it looked like. And then Hulkenberg and Hamilton avoided the chaos at the start and made the alternate strategy work quite well. But then, Jamie, the real drama kicked off.
Yes, it did. And given that, the championship fight was effectively done, in my opinion, with the original results, with, what was it, a 30-point lead over Piastri and 40-odd over Verstappen?
Yeah, 42 still over Max, wasn't it?
So given that, had it stayed like that, then going into Qatar, Norris would have just had to not lose 6 points to Piastri, which he hasn't done since Zandvoort. Then it was effectively over, realistically. If Norris finished in the top, on the podium, it was almost certainly over. So we needed some drama, and the drama showed up. And we get some... even on the way to the podium with Terry Crews driving the Lego car, which was phenomenal. Lando Norris looked incredibly dejected, and I wonder if he knew that his skid wear was probably a bit higher than it should have been.
How would he know that from in the car?
Well, I wonder if they took a gamble and then he knew that it was bad, basically. I don't know. He seemed like there was something going on that he was very disappointed about. Maybe just the amount of Lyco he had to do. But regardless, McLaren, very soon after the podium ceremony finished, were under investigation for skid wear. And we've seen this before. We'll see it again, I'm sure.
Maybe not anymore, because it probably won't be an issue with the next gen of cars.
True, maybe not, yeah. But regardless, there was some murmurings after Brazil that we didn't actually pick up on the podcast, so apologies for that. There was a one Japanese media outlet who said there were some teams who are all basically using this
Most
trick,
teams up and down the grid, basically found a trick, hadn't they?
where you run some... I can't remember what kind of metal it was. I should know that since I studied that at university. But titanium, I think, maybe, alongside the plank. And then as that heats up, it expands, which effectively protects the plank from wear, because you've got these metal metal strips.
Effectively, the metal is bottoming out before the plank does, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So on the big straights where porpoising is a small issue still, these titanium strips wear and your plank doesn't. I don't know if the FIA did anything between Brazil and now, or if they just decided to look into it after Vegas.
The thing is, this late on in a rules era, it's near impossible to police it anymore. You can't make a big sweeping change with 3 races to go.
True. But regardless, they did look into the McLarens. Obviously, the top 3 always get inspected, and then they pick some random other cars. And I guess they randomly picked the other McLaren.
Yeah, but and to be fair, people screaming conspiracy theory. I'm pretty certain this is announced just before the start of the race. I want to say they don't do it pre-weekend because, of course, obviously, then you know full well if you're doing something illegal normally, you just wouldn't do it that weekend.
They've got to do it after park firming, haven't they?
But I'm pretty certain it is known, before the race starts as such.
And I don't think it is picked at pure random, because when there's a championship fight or any sort of significant constructors battle, they often pick the cars that are important to that. So it makes sense that Piastri was picked for that reason, because imagine they disqualified Norris and not Piastri when they both had the same problem.
Absolute scenes.
But yeah, regardless, the plank wear on a McLaren was found to be too high, and they both got disqualified. And I'm so glad, twofold. Firstly, I'm not a Norris fan, which is obviously good news. Secondly, imagine you're a Lando Norris fan and you've got up at 4 a.m. in the UK, or in Europe generally, to watch this race. It's a fairly boring race, and your driver doesn't win after being on pole. You go back to bed, you wake up 2 or 3 hours later, and you find out your driver's been disqualified when his championship was almost done. I'm just like, that is a poor start to your Sunday morning in Europe.
Yeah.
But
not a great weekend, that is it. If you're a Lando Norris fan,
no. The sad thing was, and I put a tweet in our group chat last night. If Norris's Zandvoort DNF didn't happen,
yes, yeah.
So 18 more points, obviously going into this race, he would have been declared the world champion at the end of the race. And then it would have been taken away from him.
And then he would have lost it.
I feel like, and this may be a massive conspiracy, if that had happened, do you think they would have just not disqualified them? Or just not investigated it?
Possibly. Occasionally with F1, isn't it? You still get these little bits and pieces, don't you? Where you think, I think you kind of sometimes want to...
Because that's such bad PR,
hide away something. Yeah, exactly.
It's like when they declared Verstappen champion at Japan on the half points, and he was like, I don't think I am champion, and then they had to clarify their own point system after the race.
So stupid, just the fact that everybody's there going, is he champ, is he not, I don't know, nobody knows. That was hilarious as well. But both McLarens obviously DSQ'd, which does mean in terms of heading to Qatar this weekend, of course the hypothetical's a bit easier. Lando just has to outscore Max and Oscar. He has to outscore him by 1 point, and that's it.
By
Championship's done and dusted. I thought he'd win it on countback, wouldn't he, on wins? Or has Oscar got enough wins still?
I think they've both got enough wins if they won
No, Max, because Oscar's got one more win than Max still this year. So Max definitely can't win it on countback, unless Lando's got less wins than Max still?
Let me check. I think they've all got...
Or has Lando and Max got the same and Oscar's got one more?
Lando and Oscar have 7 each. Max has 6. So if Max won the last 2 races, he would win it on countback.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is pretty incredible, given he's had a fairly decently slower car for the whole season, pretty much, other than a handful of races
There's been a few races more recently where Red Bull seem to have found something.
Norris would have won had he not messed up the start. I'm going to stand on that hill.
Well, he finished way behind him in the end, so there's no guarantee. The Red Bull looked pretty good in the dry around here. I don't think it was guaranteed. And it is Lando Norris, Jamie. So you never really know.
But Lando's been pretty good when he has a normal.
He has been able to control races from the front more recently. I just think Vegas again is a bit of a weird one.
It is. We think I'm obviously a Verstappen fan? I've gone penduluming back and forth.
This is because of my next question for you. You told us last week you have officially, for the last time, given up hope. Have you given up?
I don't think Verstappen's going to win it still. I think Norris will win it. But I'm glad that I can hope, like a 2% hope for another week. And then it's over.
It's not over yet. Yeah.
It's not over till it's over.
Exactly.
And you know what? 24 points is a much more realistic chance than
49
42 or whatever it was.
42 after the weekend, I suppose.
So you never know.
What I want to see is Max and Lando take each other out on lap 1, just so Max knows he goes into Abu Dhabi with a mathematical chance.
If Oscar somehow wins when he's not won a race since Zandvoort back in August, that would be phenomenal. That would be like the reverse Mark Webber to pull it out the bag.
The thing is for Piastri is this double DSQ has actually kind of worked out for him. Because he was going to lose points to Lando again, wasn't he?
Did you see the pictures of him leaving McLaren hospitality after hearing about his
I saw Mark Webber leaving. I didn't see Oscar.
Piastri was grinning like a Cheshire cat on the way out.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Mark Webber grinning. I didn't see Oscar grinning as well.
Oh, it was hilarious. It does help. I mean, at this point in the season, results, like actual pure results on paper, do not matter. As long as you beat your rivals.
It's just about how many points you take out of someone else.
Exactly. Back last year in Mexico when Verstappen just let the Ferraris walk off with a 1-2. It's like perfect. That's exactly what he should have done.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing though, isn't it, with Qatar? Obviously, Verstappen and Red Bull won this race last year. It's historically been a track where Oscar is better than Lando as well. Dare we believe we're going to get a 3-way championship decider out in Abu Dhabi? Is it possible?
It could happen. And I mean, I'm very grateful we have one more week of genuine championship talk before it's over.
Yeah.
The DSQ. And the other thing is, if you remember back to 24, 23, when Cota DSQs happened with Ferrari?
Ferrari and Mercedes, wasn't it? Because Hamilton got DSQ'd as well, yeah.
And basically, because obviously there's only 2 races left of this whole era, they're not going to make sweeping changes to the McLaren. The easiest way to stop this bottoming out and plank wear happening is to raise your ride height.
Yeah.
And that has massive consequences on the car's pace. And Qatar is fairly bumpy. It's
not too bad, I don't think.
And then Abu Dhabi is pretty smooth, actually, isn't it? But regardless, they're going to have to run the ride height slightly higher than they would want to, obviously. And the Red Bull
it's a sprint weekend as well, though, isn't it? Which always adds an extra element.
No time to tune your setup properly, so you never know. Could the McLaren suddenly be a bit slower? If Verstappen wins the last 2, Norris has to be on the podium, basically, doesn't he?
Obviously the sprint race has a bit of permutation as well. Yeah. Norris could, in theory, he has to finish 3rd in one of them, at least.
Well, even if Verstappen wins both and Norris is 3rd in both, Norris still wins the championship. Yeah. So realistically, we need Mercedes to turn up, and Antonelli's on 2 in a row podiums now, so you never know.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this. I'm talking as a collective. The Formula 1 world needs Max Verstappen to win the World Championship, in my opinion.
It doesn't, though, does it? It needs Oscar Piastri to win the World Championship.
Piastri hasn't beaten either of his championship rivals since the race in Zandvoort.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Just because he doesn't like racing away from Europe. Qatar and Abu Dhabi are nearer Europe.
Close enough to Europe.
They're in a more similar time zone to Europe. That's the important bit. Okay. He'll come back. Max and Lando will take each other out. He'll dominate Qatar. Head to Abu Dhabi with a 7-point lead. Finish.
It is possible.
Who would win it on countback? So if Oscar won the sprint and the race, Lando didn't score next weekend. Who has more second places this year? If Lando then won Abu Dhabi and they tied.
Oof, good question. I would imagine it's Piastri, but let me look it up.
Yeah. One last hypothetical.
I don't know. I mean, it's a pointless hypothetical anyway, because there's no way Piastri is winning the next race.
He will. He'll win Qatar, Jamie, I believe.
Norris has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 second places.
Okay.
Piastri has 3.
Wow,
okay. So, you forget how many 1-2s they got at the start of the year with Piastri from Lando. My word.
Yeah. It is mad, isn't it?
Yeah, no. And Piastri is currently not on the podium since Monza, which is a race I was at. While Max Verstappen
I'm not using the no-wheel budget to get you out to Qatar. I'm not going to do that.
I don't think the budget was stretched that far.
I don't know what it would stretch to. We might be able to get you something there. Might be able to buy you like I don't know. I was going to say a hot dog, but I don't know if they eat meat.
You can
in
buy
Qatar.
me the Now TV pass to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah, the 1 day pass or something like that.
Max Verstappen's on 8 podiums in a row, which is very good going.
Yeah, mad.
In a car
Absolutely
that's not the
mad.
fastest.
I think recently it showcased itself to be the fastest on numerous occasions still. But no, you can't argue against it. He's getting the job done as well. I just really hope that the points lost in Spain make the difference. Because that would just be
quite
incredible.
Annoying.
That would be incredible.
But you know what? The fact he's even in a shout at the moment is incredible.
Is insane. To his credit. And what McLaren need is a serious number 1 driver. And this would have been wrapped up weeks ago.
They might do it, I think, to be honest. Because 24 points, obviously Max and Oscar are on the same number of points back. But realistically, if it's Max versus McLaren, they should start sacrificing Oscar. But I'm not even sure he's in a position to be sacrificed, because that means you've got to be with your teammate anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he could do a Bortoletto into turn 1.
He could. He very easily could.
Yeah.
You hit the wrong part of him, my friend.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
bring
go
back
over the top of him.
1997.
Beautiful. What else do we need to do, Jamie? We already did the quiz, didn't we? Driver of the day. I think Verstappen obviously deserves a shout. I also think Antonelli deserves a shout. Because he did, the tyre whisperer.
McLaren's Plank deserves a shout for keeping the championship alive.
Yep.
I will go Max Verstappen, though.
Fair enough. I for the sake of interest, then, I will say Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Just because that was a brilliant. And, we got a podium from basically the back of the field.
Yeah.
Which is
both Haas ended up getting points because of these DSQs. So
they did, didn't they? Yeah. Ollie Behrman, again, finishing 11th or 12th has its perks occasionally.
And the battle for 7th is on, really. I mean, I know no one cares in the championship, in the Constructors' Championship.
In Constructors, yeah, it is, isn't it?
You've got 5 points between Haas, Aston and Sauber, and that's like tens of millions of dollars between those 3 places.
Yeah.
Also, fun stat
Alpine now could get a 1-2 and still finish last.
You've stolen my stat there, because that's the first time that's ever happened.
I was going to say, it must be. Yeah.
Because 9th place, or second last, has never scored more than a 1-2 finish, basically.
No.
But there's 44 points between Alpine and Sauber. So
46.
As long as that gap... Oh, 46, yeah. As long as that gap stays the same after Qatar, or gets bigger, then Alpine could get a 1-2 and still finish last.
I would find it hilarious if after all of this Aston Martin finished 9th overall. Just going to go on the record. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That would just be insane. Ferrari are bottling it as well. How on earth they've ended up all the way down? I mean, they should have been in a distant P4 all year, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the fact that
their driver lineup was carrying quite hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Until Lewis Hamilton stopped trying.
Hamilton got completely depressed.
Yes. Yeah, and he said he's not looking forward to 26 now either, which probably is similar for most of his fans.
Yep, bang on. Absolutely bang on. Maybe Ferrari can deliver. Maybe there's some hopium in there.
Yeah, and then Leclerc will win the championship.
Possibly. Now, give him a car with a floor again, and you'll be golden. A proper floor on your race car.
We should do predictions.
Yes, I needed to outscore you this weekend to keep it alive, and I'm pretty certain McLaren might have saved me.
I think you might be right, because you said Verstappen on pole.
Well, what were the scores going in?
Oh, sorry, I've gone ahead. I've jumped the start.
You've jumped the start. You've done Antonelli.
I was on 72, and you were on 55.
So 17 gap. If you'd pulled out 2 points on me, it would be over before we head to Qatar.
18 points remaining.
18 available now, isn't it?
Yes. You said Verstappen on pole, which was incorrect.
Sadly so.
You said Verstappen would win, which was
2 points.
Antonelli second, which he shouldn't have got a point for.
But I did. 3 points.
And Piastri third, which I don't know why you put Piastri on the podium, to be honest, on current form. But
It nearly happened if just the Mercedes had been disqualified instead.
So no point for putting Piastri third.
To be fair, actually, you say that. Had he got on with it and actually jumped Oscar, had he jumped Kimi, with how much George fell off at the end, he could have probably got him.
Possibly, but he didn't, and then he was disqualified.
No, exactly, and he was disqualified anyway, so I would have been more annoyed.
I said George Russell would get pole, so not too far off the mark based on Q1.
You were further off than I were. I said Max, he qualified second.
Yeah, but if
power steering.
Yeah, I said George Russell would win, which didn't happen, but he did get second.
He did get second, so a point.
A point for me, and Max Verstappen second place, which again didn't happen, but nearly did.
2 points.
2 points, and I said Lando Norris third. So I actually got the original podium right in the wrong order, which I was quite pleased with until Norris was disqualified.
Yep.
So 2 points for me.
Be sad.
3 points for you.
I'm keeping it alive for one more week.
Exactly. So we head into Qatar with 74 to 58.
Yep. 16-point buffer with 18 available. I'm going to do a Max Verstappen.
I think I might predict like Gasly, Colapinto, Bortoleto as my top 3.
Yeah, but then that'll happen, and I'll be so annoyed. Yeah, I'll be so annoyed when it inevitably happens. But obviously, we'll do that. We'll do that in the show later on this week, won't we? We'll do all of our predictions because I think we're going to be back on Friday.
We are.
Wonderful. Have you got anything else to add, Jamie? Race rating.
6.
I was going to give it a 5.
Yeah.
It was, as we kept saying, a quintessential ground effect race of there's stuff happening, but it's not that exciting. It was more just kind of the off-track stuff or the post-race stuff that people are going to remember from this weekend. Thank you all, though, as always, so much for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. 2 more races to go of the 2025 Formula 1 season. Will it go down to the wire? We will obviously find out. Like we said, we'll do a preview show towards the end of the week because there are a couple of other bits of information we want to talk about. Most notably, Aston Martin with a bit of a shake-up, which could be quite spicy before the end of the year. But yeah, thank you all, and we'll be back soon.